Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Schickman. I'm a managing partner here at Lingia Law, and one of my colleagues, David Isaac, is here. And we're going to talk about how to open a med spa in Illinois. And we are a law firm that works a lot with med spas in various states. And David is our colleague who's licensed in Illinois. And I'll let him introduce himself. He has quite a lot of healthcare experience. So I'm excited to do this talk with him.
That's right. Thank you, Sarah. My name is David Isaac. I'm an attorney licensed here in Illinois. I have over 12 years of experience as an attorney. Over 10 of that has been focused on healthcare matters. I've worked in a variety of different settings, from large health systems, large medical groups, as well as FQHCs, law firms, pharmacy startups. So I've kind of been all over. I've worn a lot of different hats. I have both compliance and traditional legal experience. I've worn a lot of different hats. I've helped a lot of different organizations of different sizes and complexities navigate what really is a sometimes strange and complex regulatory market in the healthcare world.
Awesome. Thank you. So thanks for taking the time to speak with me about this today. And we'll just jump right into it. The purpose of this presentation is to talk about medical spa regulations in Illinois and how to help someone start a medical spa. So the first question is, what is a medical spa, and is a medical spa the same thing as a medical practice in Illinois?
So medical spas typically offer services such as Botox injections, fillers. You have semaglutide for weight loss. You have laser treatments, things like that. So it's not exactly the same as a typical medical practice, but for legal purposes in Illinois, medical spas are considered to be medical practices.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And is Illinois a state that prohibits the corporate practice of medicine, or is it a state that permits the corporate practice of medicine? And what is that anyway?
Sure. So, corporate practice of medicine is basically the idea that, many states have decided that, non-physicians should not be owning and essentially practicing medicine as owners of, medical clinics, medical groups, anything like that. So there's an idea that if a non-physician is owning a medical practice, they may be prioritizing profits and revenue over patient care, medical decision making, and quality of care. Illinois is actually a very strong corporate practice of medicine state. So, in other words, Illinois does not allow anyone other than a physician licensed under the Illinois Medical Practice Act to own a medical practice, which would include a medical spa.
So who can own a medical practice in Illinois?
So only physicians licensed under the Illinois Medical Practice Act can own a medical spa or a medical practice. So it's basically limited to MDs, DOs, and surgeons, basically.
So we have lots of clients in Illinois who are RNs, estheticians, business people. How does that work?
So those individuals cannot own a medical practice directly. But what they could do is own a management services organization, which is essentially a management company that will provide management and administrative services to a medical practice owned by a physician. So those services could include marketing, patient billing and collections. The MSO can own a physical space, lease that to the medical practice. They can own and lease equipment to the medical practice. Basically all of the administrative and managerial functions of a medical practice, other than the actual, patient decision making or medical decision making and, things like that.
Got it. And so how does the relationship work between this MSO owner and the doctor?
Sure. So the MSO will enter into a contractual agreement with the doctor called a management services agreement, basically outlining exactly the type of services that the MSO is going to provide. Again, that can be marketing, that can be patient billing and collection, leasing a brand name, leasing office space, things like that. they will enter into an agreement with the doctor that lays all that out. And then it'll lay out the fees that the management services organization is going to make based upon the services they are providing.
Okay, got it. And then the different people working in the medical spa, do they need licenses, and what kind of licenses do they need?
Yeah, so it basically all depends on who is going to be employed by the medical spa. Generally speaking, you're going to need a doctor, so they're going to need an MD or a DO. You could also have nurses. You could have advanced practice nurses, so they would need RN or APRN licenses here in Illinois. So it's basically depending on who you're going to employ, but generally speaking, it's doctors and nurses with various levels of licensure.
Okay. And what type of contracts or HR documents, or like what type of paperwork should they have in the office? Or can they just have nothing in the office and sort of hope for the best?
Well, they could do that. I mean, you may not get the best if you hope for the best, but generally speaking, you should have employment agreements with everyone that's employed by the medical spa. Or if you have independent contractors, you'd have independent contractor agreements. There should be all sorts of clinical documents in terms of clinical protocols for the specific services you're providing. You should have informed consent documents for the patients to sign before they receive treatment, to notify them of the type of treatment, what's going to happen, potential side effects and potential things to look out for. And then you'll also need medical director agreements, things like that. So all the agreements to kind of set up the individuals that are working in the office and what their relationship is going to be to the med spa.
A lot of med spa owners end up buying equipment and signing equipment finance agreements and buying devices. Do you recommend that people consult a lawyer before doing that? And what are some things that people should look out for in those kind of contracts?
So certainly want to consult a lawyer before signing any contract, just to make sure that your interests are protected. Things to look out for include termination clauses and how to get out of the contract if they needed to. There may be prepayment penalties, so med spa owners really want to make sure they know exactly what the payment structure is, and how they can make payments, when they can make payments, and if they paid off early, if there's any type of penalty or additional fee there. And generally speaking, they want to make sure that all responsibilities, you know exactly what services you're going to provide and what services you're going to be getting from the vendors. Whether that's maintenance services, any type of training or education on using the equipment, things like that are very important. They'll want to look out for those in those contracts.
Got it. And sometimes in those contracts, right, vendors may say like the venue and the choice of law is, let's say, California, but if it's not convenient for the med spa owner, they may want to negotiate that probably.
Sure. I mean, you'll want to pay attention to that as well. If you're here in Illinois and you're dealing with a company that's, in California or New York or Florida or wherever it may be, they may want the choice of venue to be, their location. So that's something you could work with the company and, potentially, at least be aware of it and make sure that, you can maybe have it in Illinois or somewhere more convenient.
And how can med spa owners minimize their risk and liability? Is there anything else they can do?
Well, aside from the consent forms and the protocols and things like that, we recommend that med spa owners have both general liability and medical malpractice liability. Certainly general liability for any types of slip and falls or any property damage, anything like that. And then certainly medical malpractice liability. Illinois is a fairly litigious state when it comes to medical malpractice. So we definitely recommend that our med spa owner clients obtain medical malpractice coverage.
And is the insurance something that really takes a long time to obtain, or have you seen it get done pretty quickly?
It really shouldn't take that long. A lot of companies are going to have, essentially a package of general and medical malpractice liability. So, we advise our clients to work with their coverage carrier and see what options they have available to them. But generally speaking, it's not a very long or drawn out process.
And in terms of starting a med spa in Illinois, like how long would you say it takes? For some of our clients that we help them from beginning, like from the idea stage to the launch stage, how long should they expect?
Well, from start to finish, I mean, it kind of depends on what relationships you already have set up. But generally speaking, it's roughly 4 to 6 weeks from conception to actual implementation.
Okay, perfect. That's pretty fast, right?
Yeah, I mean, licensure, it depends on how fast you can get the licensure processed and things like that. But generally speaking, we work with clients that takes about 4 to 6 weeks.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you. This was very informative and I appreciate your time. And if people want to get in touch with us, you guys can schedule a free consultation on our website, which is lingealaw.com. And you'll probably see David or I on your consultation, and we look forward to helping you launch your med spa.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.